Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Adrian, and in this video, I'm going to review this. This is the Osprey Stratos 24. Let's jump into it. Okay, so here it is. Here's the backpack, and it is a really good backpack. I like it a lot, but there are a few things I don't like about it, which were ultimately deal breakers for me. I'll talk about those in this review. Those things ultimately caused me to switch over to a Gregory backpack, specifically the Gregory Zulu 30. I really like that backpack. I'll do a review on it at some point in the future, hopefully soon. But let's start with this backpack, and I'm just going to talk about all the pockets and the features to get started. I'll do some measurements as well. So first up is this pocket here. This is the main outside pocket. Normally there's like a stuff pocket on backpacks in this position, but in this case, they have a zipper on it. Now, it's worth noting that this does not fully connect. You can see it's connected with some elastic material here, but it does open there and it opens here. One of my gripes about this backpack and several other Osprey backpacks that I've tested, I haven't made videos on them, but I have used them and tested them, is the zipper pulls. You can probably hear that. The zipper, it unzips fine, but when it zips up, it almost feels like the zipper is like biting onto itself in an aggressive way. So the unzip is great, but the zip back up is not very smooth. And I've noticed that on several of the zippers on this pack and several Osprey packs in general. I'm not sure what's going on with Osprey packs, but it seems to be a common problem I've run into. All right, so this pocket is about 11 inches long, and let's call that 10 inches wide. Down here we have a rainfly pocket. It does include a rainfly. It connects in right here so it doesn't fall out when you take it out. You can take this off, of course. You just slip that through and it comes right out. And this pocket's great. I really like this pocket a lot. This is a pocket that the Gregory packs, to my knowledge, don't have on them. And I like this because if I don't think it's going to rain, I'll take the rain fly out and I'll use this for my headlamp and some other small things. This pocket is, it's about 7 inches. And it's kind of a tough way to measure, but I would put that at about 5.5 inches. Now, next up, there's this outside pocket, which I really like this one. I use this to hold my goggles and my eyewear. This is a really good pocket. Again, the zipper on it, it's a little better, but unzip's great. Zip up, definitely better than this one and this one. Still a little bit rough. Anyway, this pocket is, it's about 9.5 by, I'm gonna call that 5. And that basically does it for the pockets on the outside of the backpack. Of course, it has some connections here so you can hang trekking poles and such on it. Moving on to the side, it has these massive pockets here. These are an elastic material. They're just open, they don't zip or anything, they don't button, they're just open. And they're huge, these are absolutely huge. You could certainly easily fit a large Nalgene in there. I'm gonna call that 10 inches. Obviously it's lower here and higher here, but right here in the middle, it's about that 10-inch mark. Same pocket on both sides. These are great. I like these a lot. And you can see there are high compression straps up here and lower ones down here. These don't unbuckle like the top ones, which is fine. I've never had a problem with that. They do compress over this pocket though. On the Gregory Zulu 30 that I just bought, they actually designed this so these straps run inside of the pocket. and leaves the pocket open when you compress the backpack, which I really like. Okay, let's jump up to the top now and take a look at this pocket. So this is a large mesh pocket on the top, and I like this pocket a lot, except it interferes with the hydration reservoir. I'll explain that when I open the main compartment. But this pocket is quite nice. It's just mesh. It has a key clip in it, so you don't want to lose your keys when you're out there on the trail or anywhere for that matter. But this is a great pocket, and it measures, I'm gonna call that 11 1/4. And then the depth is approximately about 7 1/4. But the nature of the pocket causes it to be more of a bowl than a straight pocket, so take those measurements for what they're worth. Okay, let's look at the main compartment. Heavy duty zippers there. And unzips quite wide. Here's inside the main compartment. Pretty straightforward. It has this sleeve for a hydration reservoir. And this is actually one of my complaints about this bag, and one of the reasons I switched. So it holds a hydration reservoir just fine, but this little clip mechanism they use is kind of a pain. Now, it didn't look like it was a pain right there, but keep in mind, there's nothing in this backpack right now. There's no water in the reservoir, there's nothing in the backpack, and there's nothing in this top pocket. But I like to be able to check my water when I'm hiking. I like to be able to monitor it. And when my backpack is loaded, and this is full of water, and I have this top pocket loaded, it is a real pain in the ass to access this reservoir. Now for me, that's a big deal because again, I like to monitor my water. For other people, it might not be a big deal. And if it's not a big deal for you, then this definitely is a great backpack for you. For me, this was one of the things that caused me to switch over to a Gregory pack, but it's not the only thing. The zippers were another thing, and I'll talk more about those when I get to the hip belt pockets. So again, this didn't look like it was hard to get in there, and it wasn't when the backpack was empty, and it's not hard to take out either, whether it's empty or otherwise. It's easy to take out. Getting it in though, when this has 3 liters of water in it, when I have gear piled up here, if there's anything in here, it just becomes a real pain in the ass to try to get that in. I know it doesn't look like it in the video right now, but trust me, when it's loaded, it sucks. And then you can see how much this pocket will hang down over that. So, not a bad design. I'm not saying this is a bad design, it just doesn't work for my purposes as well as it could. It's suboptimal for me. All right, now let's talk about the back panel. Osprey has done a great job here. They have these load tensioners, which help to pull the backpack into your back at the top. These are great. I would never buy a backpack without these now. I love those things. They prevent the backpack, like if this is your back, here's the backpack, it prevents the backpack from pulling out from your back under load. It allows it to pull back in. So that's great. These straps, despite how they look and how they might feel in your hand, are actually really good. They're very durable. I've never had them rip. I haven't had any problems with them. And they are cool. They definitely allow air to pass through. So I've been very impressed with these straps, although when I first got the backpack, I was reluctant and hesitant about these. It does have a sternum strap, and this is fully adjustable. It's not the easiest to move up and down, but it does move up and down. My backpack's dirty right now from a trip that I went on, a short hike up to Hayden Peak last weekend, so probably got some dirt on here, but they are fully adjustable. And they definitely stay in place when you move them, so you don't have to worry about those slipping up or down. Has these here as well to loop the hydration reservoir straw through. One of them is elastic, that one, slightly elastic. The one underneath is not. I clip carabiners onto these and I hang stuff from them, so I'm glad that they're a little more reinforced. Osprey did a real banger job on the back panel. This thing is great. I was skeptical about this system when I first got this bag, but it actually does work. It helps to keep the load off of your back, even when the backpack is fully loaded. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but even as I squeeze in, it doesn't make contact. The actual backpack itself, the inside of the backpack, doesn't make contact with this mesh. Really impressed with the job they've done there. There's also a piece of metal that runs right through the middle here. It's like a little, well, it feels like it's metal. It could just be really strong plastic, but you can feel a bar that runs across the middle right there. And that keeps the pack curved a little bit. Again, it runs this way. It's not running this way, but it keeps the pack off your back. The system is also really easy to adjust. You just pop these down and out, and then you can slide the system. So that is great, super easy to adjust. They definitely beat Gregory when it came to the back system, although Gregory's is still pretty great. Straw comes out here. You have this piece of webbing sewn onto itself so you can hang the backpack. Oh, it also has a wire frame that goes all the way around the pack. You can see it right there. It's exposed. I love the wire frame. This is another thing I was fairly skeptical on at first. I thought, how much good is that wireframe really going to do? And the answer is a lot. It does a lot of good. It goes all the way around the perimeter of the pack, all across the bottom, and it gives the pack a ton of structure, but it doesn't add a lot of weight. Super good move by Osprey on that. Now let's talk about these hip belt pockets, because this was the second deal breaker for me. Again, I use this backpack a lot and I really like it, but these pockets bite hard. You might be able to hear that. Just how it doesn't sound like the zipper is coming together smoothly, and it certainly doesn't feel like it's coming together smoothly either. It zips, but not super smooth. And I don't know why. The Gregory packs don't have this problem. Every Gregory pack that I've tried has never had this problem. So it's difficult or impossible for me to get these zipped and unzipped with one hand while I'm hiking. And that is often very important for me because I'm usually taking this camera that's strapped to my head right now on my hikes. I carry my batteries for this camera in this pocket, and if I need to switch it out, if I'm in some kind of precarious position, if I'm on the side of a mountain or if I'm on some sketchy terrain, I don't want to have to take my backpack off in order to do that, in order to change a battery. So having access to these pockets is great, which, I mean, if you're gonna open it, you gotta be able to zip it, and I don't always have two hands to do that. So this was the second deal killer for me on this backpack, and it's the reason I bought a new one. In fact, the backpack I bought, I think I already mentioned this, was the Gregory Zulu 30, and I'll show you right now. Let me just grab that backpack and I'll show you the straps and the pockets on it, do a little comparison. This isn't a comparison video, but just for the sake of this point. So here's the Gregory Zulu 30, and you can see how similar the design is. You can see that it has the load tensioners here. It has an adjustable back panel to move the straps up and down. It uses Velcro instead of the system that Osprey uses. It does keep the backpack off your back somewhat. It's not as good as Osprey's in this department. You can see that it's making contact unloaded, and I'm just squeezing together. So Osprey certainly has it beat on the back panel. But Gregory kicks the shit out of Osprey when it comes to these hip belt pockets. These, for one, are much easier to pull. Open and closed. Super smooth, way easier. And I think they're bigger too. I haven't measured. I should measure right now since I'm doing this video, but here, let's do this for what that is worth. Yeah, just by eyeballing it, I can see they're bigger. Only slightly, but bigger nonetheless. You see the length here compared to the Osprey. But the zipper pull, that is what got me. Just how smooth and nice that is. And this isn't a fluke either. Like I said, I've had other Osprey packs. I just returned one and bought this one instead because of this issue with the zippers. And of all the Gregory packs I've tried, whether it's at REI or Sierra Trading Post or wherever I've seen these packs, the zippers have always been superior. I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with that they kept the pull, the actual zipper pull on here, and so it creates a better point of contact, and maybe it changes the angle that is being applied, where pressure is being applied to the zipper. I don't know, but it is way better. And that's why I got this pack, and I'm really excited to go hiking with it. But this isn't a review on this backpack. I just wanted to show you the hip belt pockets. So let's get back to the Osprey. Okay, back to the Osprey. One other thing I want to point out on the Osprey pack, and this is something I really, really like, is this cord here. You simply pull it and you can tighten it down on whatever you want to put in there. And it does hold very well. I have put glasses in here, put my goggles in here before. It holds them well enough, but what I really use this for is this camera. When I'm out hiking, I keep this camera on a selfie stick, and then I put the whole system in here, tighten it down, and then I've got this right where I want it. Very easy to access. Very easy to get out. You just pull it out and it slips right out. The Gregory pack, at least that one, does not have this feature, and I really like this. So my thoughts overall on this backpack, it's an awesome backpack. I really like it a lot. And if the zippers were better on the hip belt pockets, and if there was an independent pocket to access the hydration reservoir, or even if it wasn't completely independent, if the overhang just wasn't that far out with this fabric, then I would still be using this pack and I wouldn't consider getting another one. But since it's very difficult for me to check my water in the hydration reservoir as I'm hiking, it's difficult to take out. It's not awful, but it's enough that it bothers me. And then the issue with the zippers on the hip belt pockets, that caused me to switch. Now, one final thing I want to say is that I did some research online, and apparently you can buy a zipper cleaner and zipper lubricant, and I did that. I have those on the way. They're going to arrive today from Amazon. What company sold that? What is it from? Gear Aid. That's who makes this wax lubricant stick for wetsuits and dry suits. That's what it's called. It's called the Gear Aid Zipper Wax Lubricant Stick for wetsuits and dry suits. But apparently it works on all zippers everywhere, and it makes the zipper run smooth. Again, I haven't put it on these zippers yet. I will when it gets here. But this hopefully would help with the zipper issue. So there's just a tip for you, the Gear Aid zipper lubricant. You can also get a cleaner. This is the cleaner, the Gear Aid Zipper Cleaner Plus lubricant. And that's got a brush on it, and it apparently cleans the zipper out really well of any small dust and any kind of small debris that's in there to get a nice clean zipper before you wax it. So I'm gonna try that and see if it works on this backpack. And if it does, that'll be great. I don't expect it to solve this problem. I think this is something more mechanical with the zipper and the design of the zipper pull. You'll notice the zipper it's kind of inverted. This is, I think, typically the inside of a zipper, and this is more the outside. So I think what's happening, I think two things are happening. The first is that there's friction being put on the back of the zipper on the inside, which is increasing the amount of resistance to pull it. And then I think the fact that they took off those little metal pieces that are normally on zippers to pull them, like a normal zipper pull, they took those off and looped the thumb pull right around it. And I think that is just ever so slightly changing the angle. In fact, you can kind of see that. You can see when I pull it, it starts to bend downward. It pulls the zipper. You see, that's pulling it in. I'm pulling straight, but it's pulling that zipper down. And I've tried this with all kinds of adjustments to this little piece of cord here, and it still just, it pulls it down into the bag itself. Like I have to pull it out to get it to go straight, but then I'm pulling outward. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the backpack. Overall, it's a great backpack. I like it a lot, but those two issues, the hydration reservoir and the zippers, those were deal killers for me, and that's why I switched over to the Gregory. All right, that's it for this one. See you in the next one.